The more hits we play, the more hits we get. URLradio.net. Stacey Sturm.
And Cameron Ali.
And on the phone with us right now, a very special guest, very excited to have joining our program right now, DeMond Wilson. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going with you?
That's great. It's great out here where I am. I don't know where you guys, Bismarck?
Yeah,
Bismarck.
yeah. It is probably not as nice here as it is where you're at. Are you somewhere like in California?
Yeah, like Palm Springs.
Yeah.
I'm somewhere like Palm Springs, California.
Yeah. It's a little bit nicer there. Right now we're at like 35 degrees. And
Yikes.
that's warm.
I'm wearing a jacket. That's what I'm wearing.
Yikes.
Inside.
Yikes. It's going to be 89 today.
Oh, well, that's not unbearably hot, though. That's just perfect.
Yeah, it's nice.
I think
Especially
so.
if you're a golfer.
Yeah, we're jealous. You
Yeah,
can
I
keep rubbing
know.
it in.
Well, you got to move here.
I don't know. I don't know if I could. What's the average housing cost there, DeMond?
My neighborhood or...
Just in general, because I
general?
understand I'm not going to be able to move
about
into your neighborhood.
400,000.
Oh, 400,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still not ready for that.
That's a scale down.
Yeah, I
Scale
know.
down price.
You want to know the average housing price where we're at, DeMond? It's like 189,000.
I'm going to come in by 12 houses.
It's not a bad idea. It really isn't.
We do have people that do that. Yeah. Too
My
funny.
God.
So tell us, what
What's
do you
the
been up?
taxes like?
Oh, taxes are actually not too bad. I'd say we're probably on par. I think I actually got money back on my
Yeah.
property tax last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be
Oh,
worse.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
so cold in Bismarck. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
I can't take the cold.
Come in July. And
I was going to say, you can come here June, July, August, September, and then you can go back to Palm Springs. Deal?
I would have to
Yeah.
because it gets cold there.
Yeah. So tell people, what have you been up to, DeMond?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
We got
Good
about
God,
3
huh?
days.
Yeah. We do. We have all the time in the world for you.
I got a couple of movies slated.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, one is called Faith Ties.
Okay.
And it's a pretty decent story. I play a guy who was a multimillionaire, and he lost his wife and his daughter through his negligence, and he's been living on the street for 10 years in an alley in a cardboard box, and God uses this old broke down drunk. He's not broke. He's broke down, but he's not broke. He's sitting on $1 million. He's just given up on life. And it's a pretty cool story. He uses a young Latino angel, sends him back
Huh.
to use this old guy to save the day. And it's called Faith Ties. And the thing I'm really excited about is my book. I've got a book out that's selling all around the world. It's called Second Banana.
Yeah, I
The
saw that.
Bittersweet Memoirs of the Sanford and Son Years.
Now, does that plague you? Does the whole Sanford and Son years, do you just get tired of talking about that sometimes?
No, because it enables me to buy houses in places like
Right.
Bismarck, Palm Springs. What am I doing?
And
Are
golf
you
as much as
kidding?
you want, right?
Are you kidding?
Oh, because there are those diva stars where I've interviewed people in the past, and I'm like, oh, tell us all about your days on Battlestar Galactica. And he's like, I don't want to talk about that. Oh.
Sanford and Son is one of 3 classic series that'll be playing long after I'm gone, and it's in 42 foreign countries. As a matter of fact, I sold some. That's my little Chihuahua outside barking. He thinks he's a pit.
Yeah.
It's Rico. That's Rico Suave.
Really?
Nice,
For real?
perfect name.
Cute.
He hits the yard and he just goes crazy on absolutely nothing. A tree, a leaf, anything. It's, wow, 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 wow.
It's the little dogs. That's the way they are.
Rico is a little guy, but he's got a big heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's playing in 42 countries around the world. I sold a book to a guy in Italy, and he sent me some footage of Sanford and Son in Sicily, and it was Italian. It was hysterical.
Here's the thing.
And same thing in Japan. And the book is selling. It took me 30-some years to. It's my 11th book, and I didn't want to write the book, and everybody kept saying, you gotta write it. You gotta set the record straight. And I said, I really don't care about that. And they said, well, You should, because you have all these knuckleheads out here pinning things that are not true.
Yeah.
And so I did. I sat down for the better part of a year, and I put it together, and it's a monster. It's I didn't mean for it to be cathartic, but it is. I didn't mean for it to tell all, but it does. You know, it's a wonderful piece. It's I had it put in a coffee table size because it's a keeper.
Perfect.
Most people take books and they stick them on a shelf after they've read it. and it's funny. It's filled with anecdotes, and it's sad. It's happy. It's bitter. It's the bittersweet memoirs.
Yeah.
Of the Sanford Son. Someone asked me, "Well, what do you mean bittersweet?" I said, Are you married?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "Is your marriage sweet all the time?" They said, "Well, and so there's my answer. This is not sweet all the time. It's not bitter all the time. It's like life. It's the yin and the yang. You can't have that. You can't have one without the other.
If it wasn't for Sanford and Son, right, we wouldn't have had the Jeffersons. We wouldn't have Tyler Perry doing all the things that he's doing today. So you guys,
I agree. Yeah.
You guys really, I would say, open the door for the African American to be on TV and in everybody's household, right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, you guys, like I said, if it wasn't for you, there'd be no Jeffersons, there'd be no Cosby Show.
Don't put us in the Tyler Perry. Leave me out of that.
But you know what I mean? Like, as far as the sitcoms and everything go, there would have been no Jefferson. There would have been no Cosby Show. You know.
Well, prior to Red and I, it was probably 20 years earlier. It was Amos and Andy, and that's really. I don't know if you could call that a sitcom, but that was the only black show that had ever been on network television because it was on CBS. And strangely enough, the NAACP got the show canceled.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It was the organization, the NAACP, that said, get it off. And so it was I think they only did about 20 episodes.
Now, did you know Sanford and Son was going to take off like it did when you first started? Did you know it was going to be as big as it ended up being?
I had a feeling that it might, and that was the sad part of it for me, because in those days, you got typecast. Nowadays, you get these kids out here, they do 6 episodes on television series, and they do some cartoon movie, and all of a sudden they're superstars.
Right.
Yeah.
In those days, if you did television and you were successful, and there's only, you've got I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
The Andy Griffith Show, and Sanford and Son, Beverly Hillbillies. Because shows like All in the Family, even though they're still on, they're dated.
Right.
The humor's dated. They're talking about Huey P. Newton, and they're talking about the people that the generation today don't care about, don't know about, and that's it's dated. But Sanford and Son, the Andy Griffith Show, I Love Lucy. Those shows will never go away.
Yeah.
And they're totally entrenched in people's minds when you think of a classic comedy.
Oh yeah, they've spanned generations. I watched Sanford and Son. My mom and dad watched Sanford and Son, and now my kids, they've actually watched episodes of Sanford and Son too, so they know what it's all about. In fact, my little guy, he always says, "This is a big one." He's 6.
The thing that a lot of people miss, and I bring it out in the book a lot. But we had a feeling that it was going to be a success. We did not know that 40 years later, it would still be around the world. So, but Red and I always wanted to do quality stuff. And we would fight. That's where the fights came with the writers would come in with some crap and try to get us to do it. We'd say, no, we're not doing it. And say, well, yeah, but you got to know. I said, no, we're going to rewrite this whole thing because this is not funny, and black people wouldn't do this. And that's when we brought Richard Pryor and Paul Mooney on board, and we started, getting funny quality scripts. But near the end, the last 3 years of the show, Aaron Rubin took a powder. He was the mastermind of the Andy Griffith Show, and he had a disagreement, and he took a powder, and then they brought in Saul Turteltaub and Bernie Orenstein, who did What's Happening. They were the masterminds behind that.
It was a good show.
Yeah, that was a great show.
And that was a white show in blackface. And